Whatever you think, that's pretty effective stuff. It is. Now, posters and flyers depicting abortions, graphic, bloody, disturbing. Well, I suppose that they're supposed to be, aren't they? But there's a story here. Stephanie Gray is both Executive Director and co-founder of the Canadian Centre for Bioethical Reform, one of the people behind this campaign. She joins us now from sunny Calgary. But this story took place in Ottawa, Stephanie, but it's not confined. I mean, it's really replicated all over the country. This is members of your group and allies going house to house in this case, giving out leaflets and flyers with these pictures, very disturbing pictures of what happens during an abortion. Is that right?
That's correct, yes. We, 2 years ago, began a campaign called End the Killing, where we aim to saturate Canadian culture with the facts about who the preborn child is and how abortion is an act of violence which dismembers the body of that child. And so part of saturating the culture means taking the pro-life message in a visual way to people's homes via postcards, hangers that go on their doorknobs, and that's what's happening in Ottawa this week.
Right. Now, in this case, a man complained. I mean, I have to say, I'm a little bit tired of the culture of complaint. If you don't like something, then tear it up or whatever. But he complained. Now, we're going to show you, don't show them yet, because I want to give out a warning here. We're going to show you some of these illustrations, and Stephanie and I will argue about this in a few moments, because I don't think children should be seeing this. And if you're particularly sensitive, you have been warned. I've spoken for long enough. So let's have a look at some of these pictures now. I mean, that one is not particularly graphic, but they become extremely graphic. And there's these are, and there's a juxtaposition there of wonder, and this is what happens. I mean, this is awful stuff, but it is showing an awful procedure. The question really here, we're just looking at these pictures now, Stephen. I mean, the question is, do they backfire? Is it appropriate? And let me start off with a direct question to you. We can leave them now, guys. We can just take them off now. If there are children in the house, if there are young children, would you feel correct in delivering such leaflets to a house where there was a good chance that young children would see them?
If there was a good chance only children were in that home and living in that home by themselves, then no, I wouldn't deliver it to those children. But because we know in every home in which there may be children that there are adults or teenagers, then yes, I would still deliver that, because part of the category of children includes preborn children. And so what we're talking about are the feelings of some born children versus the very lives of other children, lives that are on the line, that if their parents don't see these pictures, they might kill those children. And I've held in my arms a baby boy whose mom had scheduled to abort him and canceled her appointment precisely because she saw these images in the public square. Well,
which is an extremely compelling argument for what you're doing. But you would agree with me, I think, we come from a similar theological background, that the parent is the primary caregiver and educator. The parent is the person most responsible for raising that child. If the parent decides, no, I do not want anything like this in my house at this time, would you not respect that?
Well, I certainly would respect it insofar as I'm not going to go into their home, or I'm not going to force a conversation with their child. But what we're doing is consistent with what political campaigns do, where they circulate flyers about a political party or someone running for government. And so those are designed to impart information for teenagers and adults. And so what we're doing is simply consistent with that, bearing in mind that we're living at a time where a massive human rights violation is going on. So we're talking about, 100,000 children who are being dismembered every year in our country, paid for with our tax dollars.
Do you get any, I mean, this is a negative reaction, but do you get much negative reaction? The people who have already made up their minds and they're for abortion, we're not discussing those. People who were in the middle, perhaps, do they ever say to you, well, I may have sympathized with you, but not now? Do you ever hear that?
We actually hear people who say, I was on the middle of this issue, and then I've now come to reject abortion because of what I saw. Okay. Now, we have some people who say, I think abortion is still right. So there are some people who favor abortion. They see the picture, and the picture may not change their minds. But there's no one who rejects abortion, sees the picture, and suddenly embraces it. That part wouldn't make sense.
I mean, I have to say that this is extremely controversial, but then the procedure itself is more so, and it is at a time when someone like Justin Trudeau is saying, do not talk about this issue, when it's one of the issues we should be discussing. There has to be some sort of response to it, and what you're doing is effective. Appreciate it, as always. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Michael. Have a good day.